Here we go in the bottom left of Mountain Pass. Game 1, Match 1, Round 1, whatever you want to call it. Ultibahamut playing his beta. And in the top right, Cowboy Dan will be, of course, representing the goo. We have the scouts making their way straight towards the center, and it looks like they will engage. And I suspect Cowboy Dan is going to attempt a circle strafe maneuver on this commando. And the commando heads straight for the wall. Very nice. Cowboy Dan knows he cannot win that and immediately disengages. No, re-engaging here. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. As long as that commando sticks to that wall, the drover simply cannot kill it. Circling a commando is the only way a drover can contend with a commando. Lots of beta versus goo action in this tournament so far, by the way. Of course, Ultibahamut went random. It just happens to be the faction that he got rolled. That drover stands no chance. Will it get away? Yes, it will. One hit from death. Commando does 5 damage per shot, and just think. Actually, it might do less than that, because I don't actually know. 4 damage. Excuse me. It says 4 damage per shot. So it was 2 hits from death. Commando is now scouting around here looking for the mother goo, but of course there's a small protean, so Cowboy Dan not even going to try to go for a double mother opening, just spawning the small protean, getting that scout out of there, and going about his business. Meanwhile, here in Ultibahamut's base, we have a single factory making commandos. The drover is about to scout in there and see what's going on. We've got another commando making its way to the southeast expansion. Tower going up here to defend against any early goo aggression. Got a very nice split of commandos here by Ultibahamut, although unfortunately one commando will go down. We could see another one go down. Yes, he will get picked up, and he hasn't even had to morph that protean yet. And the drover actually survives that engagement with 3 HP. Look at that. Cowboy Dan has yet to sustain any losses here. And that very early second refinery is going to get punished so hard now. Harvesters will have absolutely no way of making it to that extractor while the small protean is alive. Commando is getting produced out of the small factory again. And Cowboy Dan will effectively be able to keep his opponent on 1 refinery, despite having purchased 2, as long as this small protean remains in the harvester's path. Although it takes a lot of damage from the detonation. And he may have no choice but to morph here. Oh, look at that! Cowboy Dan just got way too greedy, trying to take out the commando without morphing, and took way more damage than he was expecting, and a lone commando takes out the drover and small protean by itself. What a huge turnaround by Ultibahamut. Oh my goodness, Cowboy Dan, how could you let this happen? That is absolutely disastrous. The massive advantage he had just evaporated before his eyes, and I bet he is thinking, wow, I cannot believe I just made that huge mistake. That commando is a hero indeed. 7 HP remaining, and he takes out a small protean and a drover all by himself. He waited way too long to morph there. And now Ultibahamut will indeed be able to reap the benefits of his second refinery, getting himself 2 small hubs here, probably thinking of throwing up quite a few more refactories, and we're also okay, we are actually going to see 2 factories on the headquarters. So we often see a tank attachment here from Musashi and Crux, both like getting a tank attachment on their headquarters, but Ultibahamut just going to get standard factories just to try and throw more commandos on the field to deal with this aggression here. And factory and artillery attachment aren't going to get produced here on this hub. This one still has no buildings yet. We've also got a couple more walls going up. We're also going to see, looks like a play for the northwest expansion by Ultibahamut there. And this small protean is continuing to just sort of hang around. try to be a meaningful presence here in the beta base, but so far it looks like Cowboy Dan isn't really finding any meaningful opportunities. We are going to be on 3 mothers here in the northeast. Nice harassment, by the way, by Ultibahamut, forcing yet another small protean using only one commando. It's going to just be yet another setback for Cowboy Dan and expansion here. We've only got 3 mothers almost 6 minutes into the game, 5.5 minutes into the game. So not too shabby. But that being said, we're actually, okay, seeing a 3rd refinery now. I was about to say we've only got 2 refineries, but that 3rd refinery did just complete, and I think that that was definitely good timing on that 3rd refinery, trying to get that up while he has managed to force yet another small protean here, while he has managed to fend off the initial aggression. Small protean takes quite a bit of damage from this squad of commandos, and it will be forced to disengage. We've got a hailstorm being produced out of this particular complex. Some walls being thrown up as well, so pretty defensive play here from Ultibahamut. He did have some scouts making their way up here to the northwest expansion. If they're hiding in some trees, I lost track of them. I'm not sure if they're still up here or not. But the fact there were 3 somewhat wounded drovers running around makes me think that they probably tried to attempt a little harassment and probably got killed. And now we have a pair of scouts making their way to the southeast. Continuing to scout around, making his way into the trees. He will force a morph from that small protean, turning into drovers, and we've got quite a few mothers hitting the field now. We're up to 6. They're making their way towards the center. Small proteans being spawned as well to try and deal with the ever-present threat of commandos. Drovers in the trees getting focused down. It sounds like Ultibahamut is winning this engagement, although I guess I really have no way of knowing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just cleared out all the drovers in those trees, and I think he has, what, 3? 2 commandos in here? 3? Looks like 3. 3 commandos against 4 drovers, more small proteans being spawned in there to deal with that. I really wish that we could actually watch the brush fights. Although it does add a certain level of mystery to these casts, which is probably not something that we want, but oh well. Just have to live with it. More walls being thrown down by Ultibahamut here. We're on a 4th refinery now. He's being a little bit slow to expand. Playing it pretty safe, but at the same time, if he doesn't expand aggressively, then he will probably get overwhelmed. In the long run, more small proteans making their way here to apply as much pressure as they can. If they morph into drovers, this hailstorm will pose a very significant threat. 2 more hailstorms, lots of commandos in this area. Going commandos straight into hailstorms doesn't give you predators. Predators are a very, very powerful tool in hunting down mothers. So leaving them out of your build entirely can be risky. But of course, hailstorms will protect you from drovers quite nicely. Oh no, will he make it back to the safety of his walls? 1 commando gets picked up, but the rest of them do make it back through the gate. Very cat and mouse right now. Ultibahamut is playing very safe, but at the same time, if you play too safe, you'll just get outproduced. He needs to break free of his containment and get some more resources and get some more territory under his control. The clock is always ticking against the goo. More mothers are being spawned now, and they're just going to take over the entire map if left unchecked. This wall segment will be completed. Of course, we cannot forget that the proteins can just skip past the walls right into the base. Any proteins that have already morphed, of course, will not have this luxury. We do have an expansion going up here in the southeast, but I think it's probably already been scouted by these drovers. If not, it's going to be... he's going to spot it very soon. We've also got some scouting happening way up here. I'm almost wondering if we're going to see some sort of super sneaky proxy around this corner or something. More mothers being spawned. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He will be capped on mothers after spawning only one more. And after that, if they're all actively mining, I don't think there's going to be any catching up for Ultibahamut, who is still operating on only 4 refineries. Building a 5th one now, 11 minutes into the game compared to his opponent's 11 mothers. Which just goes to show if you're just kind of sitting idle with your troops, could be in for a very nasty surprise sooner than you're ready for it. A couple of drovers, ooh, get a nice pickup on a commando blob over there. They didn't split at all, and they will get completely destroyed. I don't think he even inflicted one loss on those drovers in that engagement. This wall will complete soon. We'll protect him even from proteans going across the mountains. Of course, the extra expenses of trying to throw up all these extra walls, blocking off the cliffs, as well as the actual passageways, is quite expensive when you're operating on only 5 refineries and need to be thinking about how you're going to take out others that are just all over the entire map. A couple crescents here being spawns, which means large proteans are now being fielded. If a goo starts fielding large proteins, it means you probably haven't really been applying that much pressure to them, because their mothers have been allowed to build up that much mining time. More brush engagements happening. Sounds like drovers getting picked off here and there. He still hasn't completely walled off his base. This entire area is completely walled off. This area will be fully walled off soon, but it will still leave this glaring avenue of approach for all proteins, and it's just so expensive for Ultibahamut to actually try and completely wall himself in. I'm not sure what just happened there, but it is. And the crescents will start bombarding the walls now. A couple large factories have been constructed. Small factory with an air attachment as well. I think he's going to get himself some cloudbursts to try and counter those crescents, but it's a little late. Honestly, I don't really know how Ultibahamut could possibly survive this kind of situation. I think he's probably just going to get bombarded to death by goo. Massively outproduced. Destructors being produced, crescents hitting the field. At least if Ultibahamut were human, you could think about maybe teleporting and sniping a couple of these mothers, but this expansion is about to get taken down. Now that that's happened, I don't know if there's much that the beta here can do. Bastion and destructors, drovers, small protean supports, a nice mix of units, and we'll easily be able to fend off this tiny amount of commandos. Picks a couple of them up there before they can make it back to the safety of the gate. Meanwhile, the crescents have completely punched a huge hole in this wall. The large proteans here have sliced a giant hole there. And all it takes is just one nasty artillery shot, and this whole clump of units could just disappear. More large proteins being spawned. Probably going to mix in a few more destructors and bastions and make a final assault on the beta base here. Does not have much that's going to be able to stand in its way. Already got a sort of preliminary probing assault going on here. Morphing Striders in combat doesn't go too well though. Structures are punching a small hole in this wall before making their way back to the safety of the brush, and then another assault is coming down here from the southeast. And I think we've all been in this situation many times, just dying this slow, painful death by goo, knowing that you're just getting outproduced, slowly picked off, all of your defenses slowly crumbling to crescents, not really know what to do. And it is a really rough situation to be in. I myself have no idea what to do once I get to this point in the game. And all Ultibahamut can really do here is try and engage as cost effectively as he can, and I would say he's doing so. Doing some nice pickups on that bastion, taking out lots of destructors, taking minimal losses himself, although his overinvestment in artillery here and having no predators is kind of making it difficult for him to screen. Actually, no, he's got a couple predators, okay. There they are. He's also gotten himself a couple cloudbursts to try and defend against this huge amount of artillery. But it's just so much that he can't even shoot it down in time. Plus, the way targeting priority works, I think they're all probably shooting at the same artillery blob. Ooh, nasty hits there. Cowboy Dan is just closing in, getting more and more aggressive, just more and more stuff for Ultibahamut to try to deal with. And there it is, finally, GG will be called. Well played. Beta have been overwhelmed, not enough early aggression, and that he pays the price.